Hi everybody, so nice to see all of you again. In this lesson, we are going to learn to report data by summarizing, drawing conclusions, making predictions, identifying sources of error and bias. Now, once we have analyzed our data, we need to be able to report our findings. Now, in this lesson, you will practice to writing simple reports. Now, to write a good report, you know this. I'm just going to mention it again. You must always keep your language simple and clear. You must write short paragraphs, and each paragraph should deal with one main idea. And if you have any conclusions or predictions, you write these at the end of your report. Okay, now let's look at our example. Mrs. Mafaya runs a local craft market. She has kept track of all the income that the craft market has made over the past 2 years. Her quarterly figures are shown in the graph. Now let's look at this graph carefully. On the side here, the vertical axis, we've got her income in rands. At the bottom, the different quarters. Here's our key. All the blue sections is 2011, and all the purple or pink is then 2012. Now they're going to ask us a couple of questions in order to write our report. So write a short report on the income of the craft market over 2 years and comment on the following. Which 2 quarters have the best sales in each year? Compare the income of the first and last quarters of 2011. Then compare the income of the first and last quarters of 2012. What do you notice? And finally, make a prediction about the future income of the craft market. Now, this is the beauty of this program. You're going to pause and you're going to look at your graph carefully, and then you're going to answer the questions. Have you done so? Right, let's see. The best quarters in each year are the second and the fourth. Do you agree with me? The second quarter and the fourth quarter are the best quarters each year. Every quarter in 2012 has been better than the same quarter in 2011. Do you agree with me? Every quarter in 2012 has been better than the same quarter in 2011. In both years, the income for the fourth quarters have been exactly double of the first quarter. Now, every time it is exactly double. We've got 4,000 here, and there we've got 8,000 for 2011. Here we've got 5,000 in 2012, and there we've got 10,000 in 2012. Now we get to the predictions. What can you predict? You can predict that the income of the craft market will continue to increase. Do you agree with me? Every time it's better. Your second and your fourth quarters are the best. It actually doubled from the first and the fourth quarter between the 2 years. So we can safely predict that her income will increase. Okay, let's look at another example. A municipality conducted a survey about the water usage in their district. The monthly water usage of an average household is shown in this pie chart. Now let's look at it. We've got garden, bathing, washing, showering, toilet, the washing of clothes and dishes, and for cooking and drinking. Now look at that carefully, and now let's think about the questions. They ask us to write a short report on the results of the survey, and they ask us to comment on what activity used the most water, what activity used the least water, what percentage of the total water was used for bathing, washing, showering, and toilet altogether? And how could these households save water? Now just think of that again, and then let's compare our answers. Okay, so it's clear to see that bathing, washing, and showering used the most water, right? You all have that, I'm sure. Then cooking and drinking used the least amount of water. Their section is the smallest, right? Then 50% of the total water was used for bathing, washing, showering, and toilet altogether. Okay? Bathing, washing, showering, and toilet. Can you see? 180 degrees. 50% was used for bathing, washing, showering, and toilet. And then, remember they asked us, how could these households save water? Now, I left it here, your own ideas, because I know in your subjects you do this. So let's think, how can they save water? They can shower for a shorter period of time, for example. Correct, they can put that brick in the toilet bowl to save water when they flush. They can actually just wash fewer times. Anyway, this is up to you. And I know that you're doing this in your other subjects, how to save water. Right, now it's your turn. Jabu has written 5 math tests so far this year. So below are his marks. So that's Jabu's marks for test 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the total mark of the test. Now, what did Jabu do? He drew a bar graph to show his parents. Now, I want you to study this graph carefully, explain what Jabu has done to create the misleading impression that his marks have been increasing throughout the year. Here's his graph. He showed this to his parents, his mathematics test marks, the marks on the side, test 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this looks lovely, right? You can say, show to his parents that his marks are actually improving. But do you think this is correct? What did he do? Now, they ask us to write a report to Jabu's parents to include Jabu's actual percentages and the measures of central tendency that you can calculate, whether it's an increase or a decrease. Comment on Jabu's bar graph, explain exactly why this graph shows bias, make a prediction about Jabu's next test mark for mathematics based on his current performance, and then finally offer some advice to Jabu's parents on how they can help him to improve his mathematics test mark. Let's make this a capital. How he can improve his mathematics test mark. Okay, so this is a mouthful. I want you to look carefully. Remember the possible bias. Remember the tricks that he can do, that he can pull to make it look better than what it actually is. And let's compare our answers on the next page. So Jabu's actual percentages for test 1 to 5 were 80, 75, 72, 69, and 66 respectively. Did you still remember how to work this out? And then his percentages are decreasing, not increasing, right? So we work out 12 over the total is 12 over 15 times 100 for the percentage, 15 over 20, 18 over 25, 24 over 35, and 33 over 50. So remember, it's 33 over 50 times 100. So that will give us 66%. And we're going to do the same with everyone. You still remember how to do this? Well done. So instead of increasing, like it showed his parents, his marks were actually decreasing. So what did Jabu do? Jabu graphed his marks 12, 15, 18, 24, and 33 without taking into account the number of marks that each test counted. So can you see what he did? He just said that was his marks, but he didn't count for the fact that it was actually out of different totals. And you can predict, therefore, that Jabu's next mark will even be lower, right? It started with 18 and now we end up at 66. So we can predict that Jabu's next mark will even be lower if he follows this pattern. And remember they said, finally, offer some advice to Jabu's parents on how they can help him to improve his mathematics test mark. So what did you say? I think Jabu must stop trying to give a false impression to his parents, and he must rather spend this time on studying. What do you say? Okay, I hope you enjoyed this, and then I'll see you next time.